What secret will you take to the grave? Story 1. This is a little different, but this was my grandma's secret she was willing to take to the grave, and I was not. So when my uncle passed away, we had a food service back at my grandma's house. My ex-BFF's mom made a big pot of champorado for us, and it was pretty delicious. My aunt came over and grabbed some out of the pan that we had on the floor because we didn't have the counter space for it, and she ended up leaving the lid off of the pot, and my grandma's dog starts to lick it, and I noticed maybe after a while, I shoo the dog away and tell my grandma, "Hey, Grandma, we gotta toss the chaparrado." Doggo got into it, and now it's bad. And she looks at the pot and then at me and says, "Ah, it's okay," and goes back to whatever she was doing. I was pretty disgusted that she didn't want to toss it, and I've seen that dog lick its butt and eat baby rats before. She insists I don't say anything, and I'm silent because I'm still shocked. My mom came into the room and walked right to the chaparrado and starts talking about how she hasn't had any yet. I look at her with wide eyes and quietly shake my head no. My mom looks at me and says, "What?" obviously confused, and my grandma starts whining, "Oh my gosh," as if I'm snitching on her. I tell my mom what happened, and my mom is obviously disgusted and tells my grandma to toss it out, and my grandma was mad with me. I don't eat much at grandma's anymore because of that lol. Story 2. I attempted to murder my mother. She was abusive, verbally but also physically. She'd hit you in places no one would see, or rip clumps of my hair out when Dad was on the road for work. She probably has a personality disorder. She got in my face one night when I was coming home from my second job and I had it. My mom went through whole periods where she wouldn't work. I was killing myself every summer working 50+ hours to pay family bills in my parents' names and also get my younger sister to all of her activities. I had it. I tried to put Mom's head through a wall. She started screaming, "Oh, help! Help!" And I told her she could dish it out. She should also be able to take it. Shoved her on the ground and kicked her repeatedly in the abdomen and thigh, while still trying to put her head through the wall with one hand. It's a plaster and lath situation. Old house in New England. I really fucked her up, and it felt good to do so. She's destroyed so many people's lives, and she never faces any consequences for it. No one in our family ever helped me or called the police when she would abuse me. The only one who ever helped was the dog. If the dog was awake when my mom tried to start something, she'd get between us, growl at Mom until she backed down. I had always shown restraint and never hit her until this night. But my dad did call the cops on me when I crossed that line. The cops get there, split us up to interview. I explain my side, and then just blurt out, "Where were you assholes when I was 8 and she was doing that to me?" The cop was taken aback. I think he could tell I was being honest, and it was a culmination of years of shit and pain. He goes and talks to his partner. I think this isn't an assault. I think it's a mental illness thing. Then they basically intimidated my mom and dad into agreeing with them. They wouldn't let it go until they agreed it was a medical issue, not a criminal one. So they called an ambulance and I went to the hospital as part of a diversion program. Basically, they sent me to detox for 3 days. And I emerged with no record, no charges, no nothing except a script for Prozac and a recommendation for therapy. Paid for by the state low-income insurance plan. Trying to kill my mom probably saved my life, honestly, because I got myself some tools from a CBT or DBT therapist, but I'm not stupid enough to want people to know. Who would date me? How would I ever get promoted at work? Anyway, be kind. You never know what someone's been through, and you never know what people are capable of when pushed far enough. Story 3. I grew up in a messy neighborhood. When I was a kid, most of my neighbors experienced being in jail for serious reasons and not like a minor one. Reasons like illegal drugs, killing, stabbing someone, possession of not licensed guns, etc. In early age, I know where to ask for illegal drugs. I know who to ask if I want to have a gun or other weapons, but I never did. And if you're wondering why not use that info and evidences, people in my neighborhood openly talk about having it, especially when they're drunk. Well, when I was a kid, there's an incident where plenty of police officers were outside. I thought they're arresting someone, but instead they're buying drugs. It's generally a chaotic neighborhood. One time, 2 siblings fought and one stabbed the other, and instead of that person going to jail, their mother took the blame and paid for it. I have also dealt with a drug addict. It's literally hard to talk to them since they either zone out or they'll start acting aggressive, violent. Later on, my mom decided to move out of that place, so we did, but my grandmother still lives in that place. and some family members maintained contacts with those people. Story 4. Once when I was 13, I went a week and a half without pooping. I was on a camping trip and something must have happened with the drinking water. My digestion. Took laxatives, nothing worked. My stomach was killing me, but nothing would come out. Then one evening after dinner, I felt it coming. I knew this was it. I bolted for the bathhouse, mentally preparing for the epic event. When I finally waddled in, the stalls were all occupied. At this point, I'm freaking out. I'm literally going to shit my pants and in the woods with no means of cleaning. I waddled to the private shower attached to the bathrooms, and my desperate mind starts solving problems like I'm Bradley Cooper in Limitless. Initially, I think to just shit on the shower drain and waffle stomp it through, but I was not going to be that guy who ruined the nicest shower in the woods for everyone. Like a bolt of lightning, I knew what I had to do. So I pooped in the only piece of clothing I could spare, my sock. Obviously, my stomach was doing better now, and I was hugely relieved. I brought the poop sock to the dumpster nearby, and one of my friends saw me on the way. Before I could dispose of the poop sock, he strikes up a conversation and starts asking questions about what I'm doing. Internally, I'm panicking. The best excuse I could come up with was that I found a sock in the shower stuffed with mud, so I thought it best to throw it away. My friend affirms how good of a guy I am for doing that. I throw the poop sock into the dumpster, and my problems are finally over. Mud in a sock is a ridiculous story, but there's absolutely no way he could have guessed that the real situation was much, much more bizarre. I've never told a soul about this until now. Never will again. This is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to see more of my future Reddit videos, which will get better and better, thank you.